Webcasters. I'm Lisa Fulmer, and you are here. It's Saturdays with Lisa, my weekly webcast, and I'm thrilled. No, I'm not thrilled. I am beside myself. I am over here. So I have some really fun stuff to show you today. I went, let me just give you a quick little piece of background, and then I will get right down to it. I joined an art association in my local town here in California. I'm in the Bay Area. And they have demos and meet at their meetings every month. And so this mixed media artist shared this really cool technique using crumpled tissue paper, just like gift tissue. So I'm going to show you that technique that I learned today, and I think it's super, super fun. So we're going to start with a piece of watercolor paper. It's a nice quality watercolor paper. We're going to take our tissue, we're going to crumple it up and then spread it out loosely. Okay? And then we're going to take the Podge of Mod. And so the teacher that I learned this from, she said that she would just use watered down white glue. And I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not using just plain old white school glue. I'm using the Podge of Mod because it's awesome. So I poured a little, and this is the gloss. I actually think the matte would work really well for this technique, but for the image that I'm doing, I'm actually happy with the gloss. So you have a little puddle of Mod Podge in there, and I am going to water it back a little bit because it's easier to work with if it's a little loosey-goosey, if you know what I mean. All right, so I'm watering that back. So I'm taking a nice big brush, okay, and I'm going to lay a little down at the beginning, at the bottom. Pick a B word, any B word will do. And then we're just going to crumple, okay, and you're going to add a little underneath and add a little on top. Little underneath, little on top. So you just go like that. And you kind of force the wrinkles in. That's what makes the wide brush handy. Forcing the wrinkles in is what you want, and kind of just pressing any bubbles out. And you just go on about your business like that until you have it completely laid down. And it's lots of texture, it's completely dry, and that's what it looks like. All right, so I've got these watercolors, and you know, I don't think they make these anymore. These are those Luminart Sparkle watercolors. Do you guys have these? So basically, I'm just adding a tiny bit of water to each little puddle, and you don't really want to work with a ton of water to lay some color down. This is just going to lay a background color, right? And we're going to blend. So I'm going to have mixes of color, and I can use my fingertips to blend them together. Don't be afraid to use your fingers, people. Do not be afraid to go to dinner with dye on your hands. It's the mark of a true creative. It's the mark of an awesome person to go to dinner with blue fingers, don't you think? How long did the Mod Podge take to dry? I want to say, you know, I let it sit overnight just because I was trying to be safe, but I think it was pretty dry. It was dry to the touch in like an hour, I think, and I think it was pretty dry and ready to work with in probably 2 hours. But, you know, I learned from Kathy, the Crafty Chica, let it dry overnight, and part of that is the element of surprise. She was so funny when she said, I love to let it dry overnight and then come back in the morning and it's like Christmas to see what I got. Oh, so funny. So anyway, so we're just going to do this, right? We're just going to blend colors and we're going to have some fun with it, and it's just going to make a nice pale background. You know, it's really easy to blend the colors and get this lovely light, and you can see a little of the shine of the gloss Mod Podge and also a little sparkle from those watercolors because they have a little luminescence in them. But any watercolors will do. Okay, so that's easy, right? So that's my background. And now I'm going to draw my seahorse. And I took, in order to transfer the outline of the seahorse onto my watercolor paper, I took a piece of parchment. And I'm using my Carbothello pencils. And they are chalk pastels. They're really opaque and really chalky and really fun. And so pretty much any pencil will do, but I'm purposely using the blue because it goes with my color scheme. And you're just going to lay a piece of parchment paper over your image and draw the outline. And keep in mind, if it's a directional image like this is, you're going to trace, and when you transfer, it's going to change the direction. And I'm okay with that. But if you are wanting to have it be directly the same way it's printed, then you need to print it in reverse before you trace it. Okay, so we're going to lay it with the pencil side down, and we're going to take a craft stick, or this is a little wood brayer that is used for metal crafting, but it does the trick. And you're just going to treat it like a rub-on. And we're going to transfer some of that, because the parchment is a non-stick, we're going to transfer this outline right down to the page. And it doesn't have to be exact, because you're just trying to get the outline in, and we're going to decorate it and color it in. You can really have fun coloring in with different colors and blending. And as you can see, these chalk pastels are very opaque. Get that in the center for you. And again, don't be afraid to use your fingertip. Blend, blend, blend. And so you can start filling him in and adding colors however you desire. And these chalk pencils erase easily if you need to erase. Another option you can do is the pan pastels. If you haven't worked with pan pastels, they're lovely. This is like a little stack, and they each screw off. There's different colors. And they're just this lovely pot of pastel color that you can apply with a sponge or your fingertip. And what's nice about this is that you can accent just your tissue creases. And so you can come over however you want, and you can brush most of it away, leaving just some extra color on the tissue creases and kind of accentuating that. That's what I love most about art materials. I love putting a crafty spin on art projects, and I love putting an arty spin on craft projects. I really like blurring that line a lot. So I have this stamp that kind of looks like bubbles. And so I'm going to ink it up with some chalk ink. And you could use any kind of ink, but I kind of want it to be pale, so that's why I'm going with the chalk ink. And you can add, you have to press really hard to make sure you kind of get in the nooks and crannies. And you can add just a hint of bubbles, just a hint of circles, wherever you like. Because the pastel does want to rub off, there's some degree of it will stay put, but this is an example of a pastel fixative. It's an aerosol spray. You want to use it in a well-ventilated area or outdoors, and really after your piece is done, you're just giving it a quick spritz. Yeah, and it really does hold the surface. You don't want to oversaturate, but it works nicely. Now I did find a non-toxic pastel fixative. It's a nice alternative. And sometimes what you can do is you can add a first layer and give it a spritz, let it dry, and then work on top of it and add another spritz, so you can kind of protect your pastel in layers. This is what it looks like all said and done. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lisa Fulmer. This is Saturdays with Lisa. Come on back next Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Anyone in another time zone, do the math, would ya? Bye-bye. And see.